And it says attacks, so I should be able to get through. Well, no, he would just block the scout, but the zealot would still kill Strix before we lose the. Or I can just draw Bound to Silence. That means I'm taking a turn off of tutoring, which you don't want to do. I don't think you want to do that. How cheap is this deck? Oh, super cheap. And bye-bye. Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's not expensive, which is nice. I mean, again, like his hand could be a bunch of counter spells. We just don't care. Like I'm still doing something with every turn. I'm progressing our board state every turn. Sure. I mean, like Gurmagers, we can just Bound in Silence. This deck actually might be the most powerful one that I brewed up, and I did brew it from scratch. I'm sure somebody else is messing around with this. I'm sure this is something. It's got to be this format. The fact that we just from the get go, I just snuck under his counter magic just by going turn one sergeant, and he tried to kill them. Right? He edicted and tried to victim of night, but we've lost 3 dudes, but I still got 3 on the table. Run changeling. Death touch until end of turn. That's okay. I'd still maybe rather Bound in Silence. Like pretty much all the big creatures in the format, you can just Bound in Silence. Gurmag implies less Evankar's Justice. Does it? That's not necessarily true. Victim of Night. There goes my zealot. Okay. He's dead. He died. Horrible, horrible death. I really should just get the Drainers, right? I mean, if you guys are worried about Evankar's Justice, I can just go grab the Drainers. Or the, I've seen Rebel Tron now and then. Like a Rebel-based Tron. Is that just better? Okay, so, I mean, you could start getting the Rift Watchers. And if he's trying to Evankar Justice us, Rift Watchers don't care. But they're not tutors. In fact, I don't think any of the tutor creatures are big enough to survive Justice, right? All my tutor creatures are relatively small, yeah. Yeah, you either want to get the Drainers or you want to get the Scouts and just start punching in. You got some options there. Let's go with Scout. And another Scout. Okay, so we can play Scout. And then for the small price of a depletion counter, we can still tutor again this turn. The Rebel dies, one with Gond combo tacked on. Kool-Aid says, I think the plan is hope he doesn't draw the Justice. I guess so. Street says this deck's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed building it. I don't think it's the right build. Oh, Gurmag. Sure. I don't really care. I have another Bound. I'm running 2 Bound in Silence, so let's see if we can't use... Now, it's better that it's inside the deck because this gets around the counter magic. We shall see. I have other ways to deal with Angler other than Bound, but Bound is like the most... Bound is like the most... Oh wow, they just quickly went on the Angler. Cool. Bound is probably the most convenient way to handle something big. That's why we're running 2. I might add more. He's going to counter that? Sure. Okay. We're well aware that you have the counter magic. He's on 0 cards. Get in there, team. Except for you. You're hanging back. Get in there. Dab and Ball Z says, this is Rebels? Yeah. James Bryan says, I made Gone. Looking at Blue-White. Nice to see some love for Rebels. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like, popular control decks right now. Like Teachings and, you know, Tron-based kind of shenanigans. Tutored Bound in Silence beats Hexproof if you didn't know. Oh, really? So, like, Bogles? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Maybe I want to tutor first. I think I'm still just giving up the Ramosan Sergeant. I've got 4 stable lands. He is on 1 card. I mean, the quickest clock is already in play, right? I've already put all my 2 power creatures in play. So we are trying to kill him as quickly as I can. I mean, you can put in a Rift Watcher, like we're gonna swing another. Actually, I really should be crashing in with these guys and using Ramosan to tutor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, any like 2 power creature, even if it's Rift Watcher, he should die before it vanishes. Oh, that would mean they're giving up the Ramosan. That's fine. That's fine. I think he should die before this guy vanishes. Drew Lieutenant. I mean, I still would rather just maybe tutor. Would this be a turn I just, because he's tapped out, slam the Ramosan? It's not even that aggressive, though. I'd rather just still tutor up a Rift Watcher. Attack 6 and 6. Yeah, the deck is grindy, but in a good way. Run Vidalcan Ether Mage for Nameless. Yeah, you can do that. You can also do that with the Sliver. There's a Sliver tutor. By the way, I'm going to brew with that Sliver tutor. If you guys didn't know, it's coming. I think that's next week's brew. I'm going to go ahead and tutor first. I'm not sure if I want to give up a creature here. Might just grab another Rift Watcher and then let the Rift Watcher with the Vanishing 3 die. Or Vanishing 2. Not a big deal. Yeah. I mean, outside of like M-Card's Justice, this deck just grinds really well through mono removal deck. Mr. Counterspell. Mr. Counterspell over there. Mm-hmm. Wish there were a couple more good Pauper. Changeling, Nameless Inversion is really the only one. Yeah. Well, it was grindy, but we got there. We're only like a minute or so behind the Blue-Black Teachings opponent. Duress seems good in this type of matchup. What other tools do I have? O-Ring is flexible. Pro Red. Not useful here either. Chains is pretty hilarious against something like Gurmag, but I suspect Samite could save us somewhat from a Justice, right? This is prevent damage, and Evankar is 2 damage, right? It's not everything gets minus. Pretty sure it's damage, yeah. Evankar is definitely. If you guys, I'm just gonna pull it up though for you guys. It's with a K? No, it's a C. No, it is K. Nope, it's C. So Evankar's Justice is indeed 2 damage. So you could bring in the Samite Sensor Bears. They are tutorable. They are rebels. So you could, like, in response to that, tutor that up, and then all the 2 toughness ones live. So we should try to focus on, not the Amoro Scouts, we should try to focus on our 2 toughness ones, like Lieutenant, which is grindier and slower, I agree. But let's bring in all those tools, and we're going to side out the stuff that's not really that useful. We don't need to tap small creatures. Wrathy Trapper's fine. That taps the big stuff. We don't need Recluse. Zealot Ilvec was fine against his Strix, but I don't know if you still need that. We could leave that one in. Ward of Lights is instant speed protection. You can just slap it on a creature. May not need that either. So 3 cuts. Okay. What are the 3 threats that aren't that great? Blightspeaker Draining is nice, but it's faster to swing in. Also, this guy dies to everything that he's about to do to us. It's also greedy for me to be running that much black, with considering my mana base is very light. I think I'm going to go back and change the deck to have very little, if no, black actually in the future. Somebody suggested white. White gives you some options, or blue, excuse me. Obviously, the Rebels deck is going to have a base white, but then you get a hand like this. A little awkward. That's what I get for using depletion lands, right? Well, it could work, but probably not. You really only want to see maybe 1 to 2 of that. But you would want the basic plains, not the basic swamp. Not that I should mulligan this. What? Guard into scout. Scout. This one's even worse. Bowstaff Graphics, thanks for the follow. This one's even worse, although we're scrying. But this one can go even worse. Let's get a good 5. I'm happy with this 5. It's got plains, it's got the turn 1. Keep. And